Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to News to the Science, where we discuss comics, movies, games, and more. And exciting stuff is coming out from the Spider-Man community. And I want to talk about one actor who's had a major impact on my childhood, and that's Christopher Daniel Barnes, who voiced the iconic Spider-Man from the 90s, specifically the 1994 animated series, which concluded in a cliffhanger back in like 97, 98 or so. And there's buzz about a Spider-Man 98 being a possibility, since we recently got a cameo appearance of Spider-Man from the 90s in the X-Men 97 series, which you should totally be watching because it's a real banger. There's been buzz about the show being an actual thing, and I truly believe that it's going to be coming back because I think Marvel Studios wants to focus in on the Marvel universe that takes place in the 90s. And I think, that's what they're doing with the X-Men series. They really want to conclude it. And so far, the show has been greenlit for another 2 more seasons. So I'm really excited to talk about this. So welcome back, everybody. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Click on the bell notifications so y'all don't miss anything. Post videos on a daily. Join my Discord. Invitation link to that is in the description. Also, the links to my social media is down below. This is an article from Cinema Blend, and I'm going to read it to you and then we'll discuss. So following the X-Men 97 success, Peter Parker voice actor Christopher Daniel Barnes responds to the support for a Spider-Man 98 revival, which I should totally see, I totally see it being an actual thing. Like it's a no-brainer. And a lot of fans want this, just like it says right there on the article. And if you grew up in the 90s and liked superhero stories, then chances are you watched X-Men the Animated Series and or Spider-Man the Animated Series, which both aired on the Fox Kids programming block and are amongst the best animated TV shows of all time. And they were also canon to each other, which is why you got to see that appearance. And for those of you who are confused as to why Spider-Man showed up, when you think that Spider-Man's probably, he's a Sony character, he's a Sony Marvel character. Just remember that Sony only has the film distribution rights, whereas animation, product, merchandise, and comic books, those rights are actually held on by Marvel. So that's why Marvel's able to do anything with Spider-Man when it comes to animated. So anyway, the former show has now been revived as the X-Men 97 and met with critical acclaim, which has subsequently led to calls for the latter show to be revived as Spider-Man 98, another exclusive offering for Disney Plus subscribers. And now Christopher Daniel Barnes, and who voiced Peter Parker in the 90s Spider-Man series, has responded to the support from his fans. So what Christopher Daniel Barnes said about Spider-Man 98, as laid out in the below statement Barnes shared on X, formerly known as Twitter, while he welcomes so many people wanting Spider-Man 98 to happen, including our own Eric Swan, no one has been in touch with him about such a project being added to the slate of upcoming Marvel TV shows, but he's hopeful that will, eventually change. And in his words, he says, "Hey everyone, I just want to say thanks for all the positivity and support surrounding the idea of a Spider-Man 98 revival. I'd obviously love to participate in such an awesome venture. Unfortunately, I haven't been contacted by anybody regarding this possibility, and I also currently have no connection to the X-Men 97 show. Sad face. But hey, let's remember to Stan Lee and remain true believers. Maybe I'll get that magical phone call and have to sign an NDA and then go weirdly silent on the issue. Here's hoping, fingers crossed." Now, a lot of actors do this, voice actors, whatever. Whenever there's like a highly anticipated project coming up, sometimes actors would get questioned about it. And sometimes when there's rumors about supposed, let's say, like actors that are rumored to appear in a certain project, they get questioned about it too, and they just straight out deny it. And even though like they have no proof of not being a part of it or being a part of it, they do it anyway. It's kind of like a tactical way of like being coy, and actors pretty much do this all the time. Who knows? Maybe he is a part of this already. Maybe he already did sign that NDA, and maybe he's being quiet in his own ways, where he's just pretty much flat out denying everything. That's always a possibility. But then again, why would he lie about something like that? So we don't really know. But the possibility is there. And I think Marvel Studios is really planning something really big with this. Seeing like how successful X-Men 97 is, I think it's a no-brainer. If you actually keep the same exact writers from X-Men 97 to move on to Spider-Man 98, I'm sure the show will be a massive hit. It'll be a major success, and it'll be as good, if not better, than the original 90s Spider-Man series. And I want this. I need this. I'm alive right now. Let's get it. Let's bring it right now. So considering how successful X-Men 97 has been and is already guaranteed to return for at least 2 more seasons, it's hard to believe no one at Marvel Studios Animation is at least considering greenlighting Spider-Man 98. More than 2.5 decades after finishing, Spider-Man the animated series remains one of the most popular small-screen adaptations of the web slinger, and like X-Men the animated series, it's also already on Disney+. Since Marvel Studios has the rights to make animated Spider-Man shows that run roughly a half hour each episode, it surely wouldn't be difficult to move forward with Spider-Man 98 if there's enough interest in it. Of course there's going to be enough interest in it. That's actually an understatement. There's a massive amounts of interest in it. I mean, anybody would be an idiot to like not want this show to happen. So there's also no reason why Christopher Daniel Barnes could reprise Peter Parker in Spider-Man 98, considering all the talent from X-Men 98, the animated series, who returned for X-Men 97, obviously. So whether they're reprising their original characters or have been shifted into new roles, it's worth mentioning that although Spider-Man the animated series ended a long time ago, Barnes has remained tied to the Spidey property through the Ultimate Spider-Man animated series and video games like Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions and Spider-Man Edge of Time. Clearly, a sizable amount of people are ready for his main version of Peter to return, and there's already been set up for this Spider-Man's return. Warning for spoilers, in case you have not seen the recent episode of X-Men 97, I'm about to get into those little details in just a sec right now. So let's go ahead and talk about it. It's right here in the article. Christopher Daniel Barnes sharing his thoughts on the Spider-Man 98 come after his version of Spider-Man made a silent cameo appearance in the X-Men 97 episode Tolerance is Extinction Part 1. Peter Parker was swinging around New York City when he witnessed all the power being knocked out by the electromagnetic wave Magneto unleashed from the Arctic, which is where like the magnetic point is the strongest on the Earth. And in X-Men 97's debut episode, there was also reference to both Spider-Man and Peter, as well as Eddie Brock, aka Venom. But actually there was a typo, and these mistakes happen. If you carefully look at the very first episode where the newspaper is blowing in the breeze, it actually says Peter Parker and Eddie Block. These typos and errors happen a lot in movies and TV shows, and it just happens. It wasn't typed on purpose to make fun of Eddie Brock or anything like that, and it wasn't altered by anybody else at the Daily Bugle. It was just a mistake from the writers in the cutting floor, the editing room, and how they didn't see it, it's beyond me, but whatever. So with the stage set, it would ideally be easy enough to spin Spider-Man 98 out of X-Men 97 to once again expand this shared continuity. Because you have to remember, in those shows, back in the day, they have crossed over with one another. Spider-Man has appeared in X-Men episodes, and vice versa. X-Men has appeared in some Spider-Man episodes, along with some other characters like Iron Man, Fantastic Four, and whatnot. They've appeared with, in each other's shows, and it was like the coolest thing ever. It's like seeing the comic books come to life in animated format, of course. And if any official word trickles in on adding Spider-Man 98, we'll let you know. For now, there are 2 episodes left of X-Men 97 Season 1 to hit the 2024 TV schedule. And on the Spidey front, there's still the theatrical movie Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse set to arrive at a yet-to-be-announced date, which I'm also pretty excited about. I've also gone on to show my support for Christopher Daniel Barnes to return for the supposed Spider-Man revival series if it actually happens. He has my full support, and I'm glad that he even responded. He simply responded with the prayer hands emoji, and I was just excited to see that one of the few people who's impacted my childhood actually responded to me supporting this idea. So anyway, it's really exciting stuff. And that's pretty much it that I have for you. Christopher Daniel Barnes definitely needs to return because that's his role, man. Honestly, growing up as a kid when watching this show, I used to always think that the voice that I hear coming out of the TV with Spidey on there, I used to always think Christopher Daniel Barnes as the quintessential voice of Spider-Man. I still feel that way in some ways, and seeing him come back would be really pure treasure. I also think Yuri Lowenthal is also the quintessential voice of Spider-Man. So it's a little hard to choose, but I think I'm going to have to stick with the OG because he's probably one of the greatest of all time. There hasn't really been anybody like him since then. I do have respect for Josh Keaton and some other people who have voiced Spider-Man, but none of them captured that that good Peter Parker vibe, Spidey vibe, like Christopher Daniel Barnes does. And at least in my opinion, I think he was the best one there is. But anyway, you let me know your thoughts. Do you think that Spider-Man 98 will actually become an actual show? And if you had to pick your favorite voice actor of Spider-Man, who would it be? It could be anybody from the video games, the TV shows, or even the recent animated movies from Sony. So anyway, you let me know your thoughts. Comment down below. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click on the bell notifications so y'all don't miss anything. Dislike the video if you did. And as always, I will see you all in the next comic panel.